Hi, and thank you for joining me here to explore not only my online journey, but more importantly, what it can mean to yours and to your life. My name is Connie Muller. Right now, let's have a brief overview of what my online journey has been. Now, remember, the idea is not that you copy me exactly, but I'd like to give you insight into the road that I traveled, together with a very good friend of mine. What worked for us, what did not work, and from that, hopefully, you will become inspired to see in which areas you would like to develop your skills and talents and develop an online journey which works for you. No two people really do exactly the same thing. So, once again, do not try to carbon copy, but learn from everything that you see and that you hear, and then adapt it, make it yours, embrace it, so that it becomes a path for you towards your success. Right, let's have a look at how my life worked, what put me into online, what worked for me and not, and hopefully it will inspire you. Now, here we can see a rough graph of what my life looked like. Yes, it starts out with me as a child and the look on my face that has always driven me with everything I did in life. I've always wanted more. I have never been satisfied with the norm or the status quo. So I've always been experimenting and doing new things and trying things out. And on the one side, that creates huge risk, and I have paid for it dearly. As you can see, there have been times in my life where a financial bomb has exploded and I've lost everything. Well, I've lost everything financially 3 times in my life, but I've learned every time, I've gained experience, and here where I sit today, 15 years after starting online, I can honestly say that I am at the best financial place that I have ever been. I earn enough online to support me and my family and more. And going forward, I know that things are only going to improve. But it's been a hard journey. It's not been easy. It requires perseverance, and it requires you to apply yourself and your mind to find what works for you. If you can have a look at my graph, you'll see around 1999, or the turn of the century, was when I started my biggest venture. Now, it is an online business. It was very lucrative, but it also came with extremely high risk. It was actually trading the markets online. And while I lived off that revenue for approximately a year, it also created my first big financial fall. But more about that later. I then went into corporate. I was a bit gun shy, didn't believe too much in myself. And while I still tried out things online after hours and over weekends, largely I put my hours into the corporate world and life, where I also learned a lot. As I traveled the road in corporate, I went from a basic status, having a normal job, almost clerical. And I worked myself all the way up to where you can see in 2016, where I became the national sales manager for a large corporation. Anyway, between 1999 and 2007, I was in corporate, but I started my learning curve online. I started getting involved with all kinds of online things, and together with a friend of mine, we went through a huge learning curve. It was an interesting road, but I'm glad we have passed through it, and hopefully we can point out where the stumbling blocks are so that you don't get stuck and waste a lot of time with things where we got stuck and wasted a lot of time. Then around 2006, our online journey traveled all the way through to 2016, where once again I was retrenched out of corporate, and I decided not to go back, to continue my online journey, which has really paid off over the past 5 years. I will share detail going forward. Here is a summary of my online journey. As I've mentioned, in 2006, a friend and I started with the basics at the time. Don't see too much of them nowadays, but they are still around. And that's PTCs, which are paid to click, PTRs, which are paid to read, and you get a lot of variations of that nowadays. You get surveys that you can do. PTCs is where you can click ads, and you are paid for that. PTRs is where you read emails, and you are paid for it. Surveys, as you can imagine, you complete surveys and you are paid for it. The big thing with those kind of business models is while it's easy money, it's also small money. So you reach a point where you feel it's not really worth the time and effort that you put into it. While there are ways to scale your income on that with membership sites and related things like the fixed matrix and the MLMs, you can scale that income a little bit, but we've never been able to scale it up to something noteworthy. HIAPs are still around today, although they may be in different guises. HIAPs are high-yield income programs. They are those things that always look too good to be true, simply because they are. Now, while these are usually scams, there are actually ways to make money from them. But once again, we will go into more detail at a later stage, but keep in mind that along with the high yields come high risk. And while I did succeed in earning good money for a few months from HIAPs, I've also lost huge sums of money with them. At the end of the day, I don't go there anymore. It simply is not worth the time and effort. TEs, traffic exchanges. Now that's a whole business model of its own again, and we won't go into detail now. We might at a later stage. Together with these business models, we moved into fixed matrices and MLMs. People tend to think that these are automatically scams and Ponzi's, but no, they are not. They can be, but there are ways to identify whether something is a scam or a Ponzi and whether something is truly multi-level marketing. We'll deal with that in a later lesson. We then moved into affiliate networks and affiliate marketing. It was a good exercise because even today, I still earn from affiliate marketing and of specific affiliate networks. We will introduce you to that kind of detail in a separate lesson. Affiliate networks and marketing can be extremely lucrative. At the time, we did not really make big money because we were jumping around from one thing to the next. And as we know, a rolling stone gathers no moss. It did, however, set the stage for us for later years. Membership sites. The membership sites that we put up were actually meant to build a team, to make use of your MLMs and your fixed matrices, along with the PTCs, PTRs, and affiliate sales. And membership sites work extremely well even today. But there is a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. And some things just work better than others. And once again, we will deal with membership sites in more detail at a later stage. Moving on to 2016. Now, there's a big jump here because in between 2006 and 2016, I had lost everything financially once again, but I got back into corporate and I did my online activities after hours. And I learned a lot of the things which I applied full-time after 2016. Now in 2016, I got retrenched again. But this time I decided not to go back to corporate. I decided to venture online and earn my revenue online full-time. I had my own reasons for doing that. And we had 4 extremely hard, difficult years that followed onto 2016. But within the year after that, during the 4 years and the year after that, we actually started experiencing the fruits of our labors. Especially myself, speaking of myself, I can't always speak for my friend. My real online earnings started in earnest after the year 2016. And over the past 5 years, I have had hard times, but I've also built that income into what I can experience today as an extremely good income online, and it serves me and my family well. After being retrenched in 2016, and I decided to go online full-time, I took stock of all the skill sets that I had developed over time online. It was a whole 10 years, and I started to fine-tune them, and I brought them to where I am today. Now, after 2016, I started focusing on things like website and app design. It's something I actually started many years previously, just after 2006. But as I've mentioned, after 2016, I started looking at it as a real business. I also started with online webinar training, which is also developing into new ventures as I go along. I also started developing online courses. That was an interesting journey. And I also see that as part and parcel of my future. Digital marketing as a service, it was something I started offering clients. It's a big need out there. There are businesses who need more clients, and they are happy to pay me to do digital marketing for them. Then there's also miscellaneous digital services, things like creating explainer videos, and a whole list of things which we will also explain in more detail in future modules. Here today where I sit, 15 years after my start in 2006, my main income streams online are firstly, I host webinars for clients. Now, this is also an excellent business model that I will talk about in more detail later, and it's extremely lucrative. I do digital marketing, and I've reduced my number of clients there to 2 clients who actually pay me monthly, a retainer, and gives me a good income. I do affiliate marketing, less than what I would like to, but I think I might grow this going forward in various ways. Affiliate marketing remains an extremely lucrative business model. I do online reputation management, but I only do that for one client. It's a very narrow niche. There may be ways that you can expand on that in your environment. I do online training, and here I'm referring more to the webinar kind of training online where I can remotely deliver training to staff or to individuals, but it can also roll over onto recorded training or online courses, which is the direction that I feel that I would like to take. I still do website design for a handful of clients, but the website design is actually owned and managed by my son, who has a full digital agency, Burst Digital, and he delivers to, I think, almost 63 clients nowadays, a full digital service where he does website design, he does maintenance and web care, and also, once again, a whole list of other things, which in turn provides for him and his family. I still deliver miscellaneous digital services such as video creation and also a few others. Software as a service is also something that I am doing. Not that I have created the software, but I will also share more about that later. And here is the evil one, crypto trading. I know this is perhaps something which I should not really be putting on the table, but I thought that going forward I will share what I have discovered, not only in crypto trading, but in trading in general, because there are certain things that are suicide. And especially in the crypto market, which is an extremely volatile market, there are things that you can do to make money, but there are other things that you actually should be extremely wary of doing, or you will lose a lot, if not everything. I've been there, I've done that. I have more than one t-shirt. I had to mention it, but I do still have brick and mortar ventures, largely because my partners in the brick and mortar ventures actually doesn't believe in online things. And I perhaps bring the online aspect to the table to enhance the businesses. We'll talk about that as well in later modules. Where I am right now, and what I call my last hurrah, and this is 15 years after 2006, is I am now building scalable online training. I see that as my future, as the business model that I enjoy the most, that I have the most success with. And it might not be for you, but hopefully with all the things that I will share, you'll be able to find something, or maybe more than one thing, that you could make work for you. You may have to bend it a bit, you may have to tweak it a bit, because no two people are exactly the same. That being said, I know that you can earn online and you can make money online. It's not always an easy overnight quick road to get there, but you can learn a lot from the mistakes that I've made. You can avoid them, and you can focus on the positive things. And you could reach an income, perhaps part-time, perhaps full-time, a lot faster than what I did. So, let us take this forward and see where it takes you.